Why is all this happening to me? There's a very normal reaction to a situation like the coronavirus. It's very easy to start to ask ourselves, what is going on? Why is all of this happening to us? Why do we have to stay in our homes? Why are we not allowed out to visit friends? And of course, you know, there's good rational explanations to that, but sometimes they don't really satisfy our heart. And in fact, in general, why do bad things happen is a question that we ask ourselves actually very often. Whenever something bad happens to us, maybe we say, why does this happen? You know, why are there viruses and illnesses circulating around the world? Why are there natural disasters? Why are there wars? And of course, we can have good rational explanations. We can say, well, viruses happen because of maybe cell mutation. Natural disasters, sometimes linked with plate tectonics. And wars, well, that's because human beings are kind of egotistical sometimes and they want things that don't belong to them. But that doesn't really satisfy our heart. That doesn't satisfy the actual question that we're asking when we ask, why do bad things happen to us? And it's interesting because the Bible asks the same question. And you and I, we might think, oh, well, the Bible is a book about God. It's supposed to be a holy book, so it won't deal with these sensitive issues where we think that there are no real answers. But it's a question that the Bible takes very seriously. Why do bad things happen? Or if we want to extend it, why do bad things happen to good people? And there's a story of a man, and he's a great guy. He's the guy that you would want to be friends with. He does everything right. He's very rich, very wealthy, got a great big family, and they all love each other. And it's just like an ideal life, and it just sounds great. It just sounds like exactly what you and I want to have. But then one day, he's hit by a series of incredible disasters. First, there's natural disasters, which cause the destruction of his home and his kids' homes, and his children die. And then raiders come in and steal all of his stuff. And at the end, he's left with nothing. None of his possessions, and his children are all dead. His wife is the only one left. But then, to top it all, on top of everything, he gets this incredible illness. And he's left scraping his sores, his open, pussy, gross sores. He's left scraping those with a bit of clay for some reason to kind of deal with the pain. And his wife is the only one who's left, the only one to offer him comfort. And she says, what are you doing? Just curse God and die and finish with this stuff. But he doesn't. He spends the next 30-something chapters of this incredible, iconic, epic book asking God, why? I've done everything right in my life. I've been a good person. Why have I had to suffer so greatly? And God does not answer. Chapter after chapter after chapter, there is no answer to this problem of evil in the world and evil in this man's life. Until finally, God shows up. The problem is, when God shows up, we're expecting an answer because we've seen behind the curtain. We know why this has happened to this man. That's written at the start of the book. But of course, he doesn't know. So we expect God to come up and to just give the kind of rational, logical explanation. Look, don't worry about it. This happened because of this and this. But that's not what he does. He comes and he starts talking about his power, what he is able to do. That he is the one that takes care of all the animals. He's the one that sorts out all the seasons. He's the one who sends snow and rain and sorts everything out in the cosmos. He's the one who created the planets. He's the one who created everything just by his words. And at the end of it, he doesn't tell this man why this all happened. He just tells him, trust me. Trust me. And wow, is that an answer that you and I don't want to hear. When bad things go wrong in our lives, we do not want to hear God say, listen, I've got everything in control, just trust me. Because to you and I, it seems that he doesn't have everything in control. And that's why we're in these bad situations in the first place. But what is amazing is that this man who's had to go through so much more than I hope that you and I will ever have to go through, he accepts this answer from God. And he says, I used to hear about you. I knew about you from hearing, but now I've met you. And wow, I am impressed. and I do trust you. And then at the end of the story, it's a classic Hollywood ending. Even before Hollywood was even invented, everyone lives happily ever after. God restores the man's possessions and gives him new children, and everything's great. But the difference is, from before, he's gone through all of this suffering and he realizes that there is a God and that he's in control, and wow, I want to be in a relationship with this incredible God. So how does that affect our lives? What's that got to do with like coronavirus and the bad things that happen? Well, we can give answers that satisfy our head. We can give answers even concerning why God allows evil in the world. We can talk about free will. We can talk about long theological words like predestination. But ultimately, even though that might satisfy our mind, it doesn't satisfy our heart. And we want to know, God, why do you allow these bad things in our lives? Why do you allow coronavirus? Maybe you've lost a relative because of corona, or because of cancer, or because of something else. And we ask him why. And the answer that he gives to each one of us, which is incredibly unsatisfying, is trust me. Trust me, because I have everything in control. Even when everything else around us looks like it's chaos, God somehow has everything in control. And he has a plan for this world. He has a plan for our lives. And his plan is ultimately to fix everything, to make everything new, to make everything better, to make everything how it should be before we messed everything up. But that's not where we are at the moment. We're in this in-between time where we're learning, we're going through these times of suffering. So I encourage you, if you're wrestling with this question, why do bad things happen to in this world? Why do bad things happen to me? I'm not such a bad person. I encourage you, speak with God. Cry out to God. Maybe he won't answer you at first. Maybe he'll leave you in this silence for you to think it through. But ultimately, he will answer you because he loves you. And he has already answered you, because he's already sent the Messiah, Yeshua, to die on your behalf, so that one day you can live in paradise and eternity with him, where everything is as it should be. Not like this world where everything is broken. God is not a despot who sits up in heaven on his throne, kicking back and fires thunderbolts at people who disobey him. He's not that. He's not that caricature. He's a God who cares intimately about us. And he sent his own son, Yeshua, the Messiah, to suffer for us. He lost everything, just as many of you and many of us have lost things in our lives. God suffers as well, and God suffers every day. Could he change everything in an instant? Yes, he's powerful too. But he doesn't, because he has a greater purpose, and that purpose is described in the Bible. So I'd encourage you in this time when maybe you're asking, why is this happening? What's going on? Take time. Open the Bible. Maybe you never read it before. You've got a lot of time on your hands because of Corona, so flip open to the book of Job. That's the man I was telling you about in this video. Read his story. Read the wrestlings that he went through. A guy who believed in a good God, and this good God allowed all of this garbage to take place in his life. And still, at the end, not out of disillusion, not out of blind faith, not out of lack of wisdom or knowledge or not knowing science. No, out of trust, he says to God, I know you now, and I choose to trust you. So my wish for you is that one day you will be able to say with this man, Job, I used to hear about God, but now I know him, and I trust him with everything that I have.